Hello, it's your host, Megan. We decided that we kind of wanted to use this podcast to highlight some nonprofits that we find. So for this episode, we chose to talk about the Trevor Project because in the month of June is Pride. So what the Trevor Project is it's a nonprofit organization where you can go to their website as a queer person and get whatever kind of help you need to continue living. So essentially their mission is to end suicide in the LGBTQ plus community, which mainly affects, young kids. And when I say young, I mean like teenagers. But they're 4 times as likely to commit suicide, with suicide already being the number 2 cause of death for youth in the United States. So it's a pretty serious problem. There definitely needs to be some access to help. Which is kind of what the Trevor Project is trying to do. So if you do choose to donate, what's going to happen with your money? So the money is used to fund crisis services that keep counselors on staff and at the ready 24/7, which can be accessed through the Trevor Project website. They advocate for queer-friendly legislation, meaning that essentially someone gets paid to go and try to convince lawmakers to work with the LGBTQ community, essentially. And they also work to develop ways to educate and raise public awareness on queer issues. So all of those things seem worth giving money to me. If you feel so inclined, I'm going to put information to donate to the Trevor Project in the description on both Spotify and YouTube, which I just recently discovered you could do on Spotify. And the situation in Palestine, still ongoing. I don't just want to move on from that at all. So until there's some sort of promising resolution, we're going to keep information on that in our descriptions on both YouTube and Spotify if you want to check that out. Thank you so much for listening and for your time. All right. That would be very recognizable.
Ready?
All right.
Hey pals, buds, and lovelies. Welcome to Mooning and Musing with
Megan
and Hannah.
Happy Pride! What you been mooning and musing about, man?
Literally Pride stuff. Literally Pride stuff because we decided to talk about anything gay for the whole month of Pride. I've just been doing a lot of research and honestly doing my part with all the research too, because I just know as someone who's publicly came out just a few years ago. I still haven't done my part in knowing
Has it been years now?
Yeah.
What year did you come out?
I was 21.
Was it really?
Yeah.
That's crazy that much time has passed. That feels like it was not that long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as I think it's my job to find out about the past people and what they've done so I can feel comfortable enough to even do what I'm doing now, So, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that was one of the things we talked about was the, I don't even know what happened at Stonewall. I know what it is, but I didn't know, any of the details.
Specifics, yeah.
Yeah, so that's, essential queer history.
That's, yeah, and for some people, who came out when they were younger, and, even as kids, or, it's just been so, they've been so out that they, have had the time to look into all that and do all that research years ago. Whereas, you can't, start doing that when you're still in the closet and you're still denying, yourself. So it's I haven't been able to do all this research. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's also, I lost my train of thought immediately. But I remember what I was going to say, though. Queer history is still happening, right now. It's not
because there's so much shit that needs to be done still.
Yeah. So it's with civil rights, for Black people, that's obviously still ongoing.
Yeah.
But the school systems, I feel kind of led us to believe that was a thing in the past.
Yeah, they were check, got that taken care of back in the 60s.
Yeah, they
sure
made slavery illegal and thought that they did, hey, it's over.
We're done.
Hey, But it's I feel the part of queer history right now where they're going to be talking about the bills that have been passed and stuff, that's happening now. This type of stuff is going to be, you're going to learn about it in social studies in about 30 years probably.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool, but kind of not, that we're still
also not, yeah.
But I guess, like, you know, the train of progress. I wonder what we're going to be doing now. That in, like, 50 years, we're going to be like, I can't believe I was doing that. Or if maybe that's a thing of the past now. Because people are so worried about being, like, ethical and having morality. That's a good question, yeah. So that is very interesting. But do you want to talk about your historical?
Yeah, okay. So, like we said, we wanted to talk about Pride stuff. So I found a really cool, so the Trevor Project.org, but they had a little PDF and it was like 75 pages and it just focused on an individual, or even like one of them was Stonewall. So it's like something that took place. And I found a couple that were, you know, that were interesting enough to talk about. Not that the others weren't, but I was like trying to find something that wasn't too heavy for our second episode, because some of the shit in this history is sad. Anyways, yeah. So I wanted to talk about Audre Lorde, who is a writer, feminist, and activist. And I'll give you her birth and death date if you want. Yeah, she's born in 1934, which, damn, is crazy to me that people are just born then. Oh, I'm starting to feel it. Died 1992. But I wrote one of her quotes down because I liked it.
Yeah, period.
Anyway, this is from, I don't know, The Transformation of Silence into Language and Action, 1980, which that alone I was like, well, that sounds cool. So I wanted to hear what she was going to say. Here we go. I have a duty to speak the truth as I see it and share not just my triumphs, not just the things that felt good, but the pain, the intense, often unmitigated pain. It is important to share how I know survival is survival and not just a walk through the rain.
That's beautiful.
It was. I was like, well, shit, that's gonna make me cry.
I love when people are just so
they're good with the fucking words. Yeah, like, bitch was a poet. Yeah, so self-described black lesbian mother warrior poet. Like, damn.
Awesome.
Adding warrior to your name, too, is like, whew.
Chills.
That feels good. Yeah, chills. That feels fucking good. So started as a librarian and then, you know, turned outspoken poet. So, like, good on you. Like,
she must have been in there reading them books.
She was, like, doing her research. She was like, now I'm ready. But she was very candid about sexuality, gender, and her personal battle with breast cancer. And, yeah, just being candid about her experiences, which, you know.
That's harder than you would think.
It is, especially when it's some painful shit. And she said that's necessary to talk about the pain. And she co-founded with her friend Barbara Smith the Kitchen Table Women of Color Press, which is the first U.S. publisher by, for, and about women of color. And that was in 1980.
That's awesome.
Which is pretty fucking sick. Yeah.
When I was in school, we had to read so much stuff by Audre Lorde. Like, I was telling Hannah when she said that was who she looked into, because we didn't really discuss beforehand, like before today, what we were going to be talking about. So I'm kind of learning too. But I had to read so much stuff by Audre Lorde in college, so that's really cool that she, like...
Did you like a lot of her...
I did, yeah. I really liked a lot of her work. Her and... Honestly, I don't know anything about either of these two people, like, personally, like, what they did.
Yeah.
But Audre Lorde and Patricia Hill Collins were staples of sociological, like, stuff you had to read.
There's so many things that I need to, like, add to my, like, read list. Like, with things like that, too.
I can send you some stuff. Please I have it saved. Hey, if you're in college, this is like a subplot of what we're about to say. Start downloading all of that stuff, because as soon as you lose your access, that's bullshit. I should have access to that for life with the tuition that I paid.
With the absurd...
Hey, University of Louisville.
What's up?
I should still have access to that library.
What the fuck is up?
For life. But yeah, download those articles.
Actually, I don't know why that's not a thing.
Put them on a USB drive.
Should really start be working for that. Do you want to do...
You want to go back and forth?
Yeah, because did you do 2 or did you do 1?
I did 3 technically, but I'm gonna combine 2 of them.
So like my second one is a little longer. So it's like if you have oh my god, my legs. That's okay, Megan.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about Marsha P. Johnson, because I feel like that's somebody that, like, if you are in the queer community, you have heard of this person.
Yeah.
They're known for throwing the first brick at Stonewall, which actually she herself said was not true, by the way. I'm not sure. Excuse me. She was she described herself as a gay transvestite drag queen. This was before transgender was a common term, so I don't think that she really had the language that we have now to describe herself.
And also language changes, like, just, like, with the word, like, queer. You know what I mean? Like, through time, so, yeah.
Yeah, so she was born a man not born a man, assigned male at birth would be the right way to say that, in 1945 in New Jersey. And she was born to a warehouse worker and a housekeeper. And I looked up if she maintained a relationship with them really at all, because during that time...
No, that's a good question. Yeah, how was her relationship with her parents?
It was described by a cousin as close but fraught. So whatever that means, I don't know how it can be close and fraught, but that does sound like one of the complex relationships that a queer person might be having at that time.
Parents.
Yeah, and with their family.
I think if you just say that, for a lot of queer people, they're probably like, right, gotcha. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I know what close but fraught is. I really do. Yeah, they know.
And that was a cousin because she died young, which I did not know going into this, and that made me really sad. But she was the fifth of 7 kids, so she has 6 siblings. So that's crazy.
She beat me.
Yeah, so they're big family. They were also Methodist, and she was a Christian her whole entire life. So I honestly, I have my own, quarrels with organized religion and what the ratio of harm to good it does is, and how ethical that is. But I do think that that's really cool that at that time period, this is a remarkable life that she lived the way that she did.
Hell yeah, dude.
And still maintained a relationship.
Especially the time. I know.
With God. That
good
is
on ya.
Resilience that I don't know anything about. But she began wearing women's clothes at the age of 5. She ended up stopped doing that because the bullying got overwhelming and she was sexually assaulted at school. So that's cute. But she started wearing women's clothes again when she moved to New York, which, by the way, she did that with $15 and a bag of clothes. Moved to New York.
Well,
so again, this is determination. A remarkable human being.
That's so scary.
That's so scary.
Oh my God.
But she had a problem getting a job.
Well, yeah.
A lot of queer people do, even now. And the reason she had a hard time getting a job is because there's discrimination against people that look the way she did.
Yep.
And at the time and now. So something to keep track of. So she turned to sex work. She was doing that, serving from time to time, and was doing drag shows. Which I need to look into the history of drag too, because I don't know when that started.
Well, I think we could do it. We can do an episode on that.
Yeah, we could look into
a drag episode, because
interested.
We could do a drag episode.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
One thing about Megan Owens
eats drag up. Not that I don't, but it's like it would be wrong of me to say that I love drag as much as Megan.
We go to if you're from Louisville, if you know about Play Louisville, which is a gay bar, but it's also a drag bar.
Yeah,
and it's split in half, and one half is a dance floor.
Megan eats up the drag side, whereas I would love to boogie. So
I get left, but I'm okay with it. But I always come back. I
always come back to the drag side.
Yeah. So anyway, this led to her she was obviously spending a lot of time in queer spaces. She was homeless as well. So she was just, she needed to make friends to have places to stay.
Obviously.
Because that's where she was kind of couch surfing for a lot of her life. But she ended up at Stonewall the night that the police came and raided the place. So I'm going to kind of mix the Stonewall subject and Marsha P. Johnson.
Well done.
So what happened at Stonewall was, so at the time, it was not legal to be gay in New York, which is where she was. And
this time is 19, was it 60? It was late,
happened.
right?
I think it was
late
69, but I'm going to go find my note to be able to tell you for sure.
Yeah.
Bonobos gay, exclamation point. 1969. Yeah, it was June 28th, 1969. So Stonewall was an inn that was owned by the mafia, and that was
Yeah, I was reading about that too. I was like...
Yeah, the mafia said gay rights.
Well, they also... And it's because at the end of the day, they were they were going to make money, and they were like, that don't fucking matter, we're going to make money.
Yeah.
These people are going to come, so get on them.
But it was what they were doing was illegal because being homosexual was a criminal offense. And I wrote down when it was legalized, and it was 1980. So it was about 11 years after Stonewall happened. And Stonewall is what kicked off the Pride parades. That's when, we got the ball rolling. But, so the police were known to target places where queer people frequented. Yeah. And it was really hard for them to get liquor licenses because it was illegal to be running somewhere that catered to LGBTQ people.
Everything. Illegal.
So they got raided all the flipping time. So Stonewall got raided on June 28th, and that's when people started pushing back. But that was I think a Sunday. It was either a Saturday or a Sunday. But the Tuesday before the police had already been in there. So they were fed up. And it's probably going to be mostly the same people. It's not like bars now where like people probably frequented.
Yeah, so that bar,
so they were
like
used to it.
there was a community of people who probably were always there because it was a safe space for them.
Yeah.
For others to be just like spaces. them.
So
yeah, to put myself in their shoes is actually so difficult. Like we are, like it's still shitty, but it's like we still have so much more.
Oh, we have come so far, and it is. You never have come so far that it's time to stop asking for progress. But we have, from where we were, we have come very far, and I'm scared that we're on a little bit of a backswing with
a little bit
the current political scheme. But
a little bit.
Hey, keep talking about it. But yeah, so they were really irritated when the police came again.
Well, I would be absolutely fed up. I think everybody in the crowd would have been like, "All right, guys, next time they show up, let's start throwing shit back."
Yeah, and I don't know if it was premeditated. Like, I don't think anyone knows. This is all word of mouth.
I just feel like somebody was like, "Oh my god," and they threw something, and everybody else was like, "Yeah."
I think that's exactly what happened.
It had to have been. Just think about how you are in a crowd. You get so pissed.
Yeah.
And somebody throws the first thing.
Especially if it's like an oppression thing. Yes, as soon as one person speaks up, you'll be like,
fucking fed up. You know what?
I didn't like that
agree.
Neither. Yeah. But somebody threw a bottle, and then they started throwing pennies, which I thought was like, that's so funny.
Well, that is hilarious.
Hey, eat my pennies.
Damn it.
And they ended up like causing an uproar, and the police tried to like close themselves off inside the inn, and they took a parking meter out of the ground and busted in the window and got them cops out of there. So this is not your goddamn space, man. Get out. But Marsha P. Johnson, so she's credited, I said this earlier, with throwing the first brick, but she says that she showed up when all this was already going down and she just joined in.
I wonder who credited her then.
I don't know. I think that it was because, so the people that needed community the most at the time, and still now, I'm sure.
Still now.
The most downtrodden on person is Black trans women. Like, you have every layer of oppression.
Well, add on top of that, if you're... let's get a little crazy. And if you're bigger, too. Go ahead and add that in there, too.
I don't know if she was or not.
No, not her. But I'm just saying in general. Like, if you add another little flavor to that, damn, they're going to hate you even more.
Yeah. That's where, like, the concept of intersectionality, like, where you sit on that spectrum of, like, oppression and being the oppressor is very interesting. And there's some people that just don't end up having any layer of oppressor and are completely all of it, which I can't imagine. But there were so many like Black females there that were obviously queer, like in some capacity, whether it be like a sexuality thing or a gender thing.
Yeah.
Or both. Sometimes it's both. Yeah. There were a lot of those type of people there because
the loudest ones, the ones that have been shat on the most.
Yeah. So they I think that they just got people mixed up.
Dude, there's so much shit going on, dude. It's really hard
She said that it wasn't her. So I think that was kind of cool of her to like not
she
steal
was
the
like,
credit
no.
when it wasn't earned. But after that, she went on to start several organizations for trans women of color, and eventually died. And she lived a very short life. I wish I had more to say about her, and I was kind of shocked that I didn't, because I like I said earlier, I thought she lived a long life, and I kind of wish I could have just carried on with that myth.
Well, if like something didn't like happen to her, like I think she would have really like done even more.
Definitely, yeah, because she was about the business. By the way, the P stands for Pay It No Mind. So that was the kind of person that she was.
That's so fucking...
Marsha Pay It No Mind.
That's so fucking
Johnson.
good. See, that's one thing I did know about her. So like I did do, like I've read about her a couple times, and like so that's a new one for me. I didn't know about the P.
Yeah, she was a very zesty person for
Pay
sure.
It No Mind.
But she was found in a river in 1992, and it was ruled a suicide.
Which you've got to be fucking joking.
Well, it's now been reopened as a homicide, but I don't think that any progress has been made on finding out who did it.
Yeah.
And that's just sickening. But to say where I got all this information, I got it from the National Women's History Museum, and the article on Marsha P. Johnson was written by Dr. Emma Rothberg.
Period.
So I will put that in the description if you all are interested in reading that.
Yeah.
Which this is a very interesting life. So if anything I just said interested you, that was like a short synopsis. There was a lot more to be said.
Yeah, and that's why I also like mentioned the TikTok the previous episode, because like if you don't want to read about it, there are like our videos to watch. But I just really think you should just be aware of this history and like the struggles that all these people have, and like they fought to create these foundations and organizations and these safe spaces for all these individuals. And because they had the future in mind, they were thinking about the kids, and there were still kids.
And it was hard fought too.
Jeez, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, it's okay. It's okay, because I picked a fun topic for mine.
Yeah, my next one's a little more lighthearted too.
See, exactly. Because I didn't want to have to cry every episode we were doing this. Boy.
All right, you want to tell us about the
are you all ready for the orange juice boycott? On accident. Didn't mean to say it like that.
I liked it. I thought it was funny.
That's why I stuck with it. All right. Anyway. Okay. I'm really excited to talk about this one.
I'm really excited for this one,
I'm going to give you guys as much information as possible, too. Okay.
Please do.
And you know what? We're going to give a little snippet of a video of this, too, that I'm about to talk about on
Instagram. I'm still working on my video editing skills. I will one day, though, and like, not to get off track, give me like 6 months, it's going to be beautiful.
Don't you fucking
but
worry.
Anyway, there might not be a video inside the video. That sounds like a lot for my brain.
That is a lot, but like, trust me, you're going to see this bitch get pied in the face. There's a little teaser.
Yep.
So if you're unfamiliar, which I'm sure some people are, but like maybe they've at least heard about this. That's what I'm saying. I didn't know about this, but I'd be shocked if somebody did. Anyway, so in early 1977, Miami-Dade County, wherever that is, joined 40 other cities in passing an LGBT non-discrimination ordinances in a growing movement for civil rights, period. So it was like, great, good job. So this fucking woman, Anita Bryant, who was a singer and spokeswoman for Florida Citrus Commission. You know how Florida's really worried about their OJ? Because they got the best oranges, I guess. I don't know. But she and conservative supporters crossed the country in an effort to pass an anti-gay legislation. So she's just being a real fucking bigot and being real assholic about everything.
It's like none of her business either.
Well, that's what it's like. She saw it. She was like, it's like she saw this as an opportunity to... She's like, this is just not proper. And I know it's like I was driven to say something. It's like she's like feeling something to say something. And it's like, you just don't need to. Which is why she deserved what she fucking got.
She reminds me
in the slightest way.
J.K. Rowling. Like when she was describing some of this to me, I said it sounds like an older version of J.K. Rowling's dumbass.
Yeah, because she's like doubled down. And I'll get into it. She, because of this, clearly angering the LGBT community, they, in retaliation of her doing this, formed the Coalition for Human Rights and the Miami Victory Campaign. And in doing that, boycotted Florida orange juice in all the LGBT establishments nationally. So that was hilarious. And this was... Yeah, I said early 1977. So then we get to October of the infamous day, October 14th, 1977. She was infamously pied in the face by a gay nurse named Tom Higgins in Des Moines, Iowa. And we have video footage. Which is pretty funny. She was like in this interview, and it was a tiny little room. I think it might have been like CBS News or something like that. But it's like, it was just a cute little setting, and they were all talking, and it was like 24 seconds in, and then bam, pied to the fucking face, bro. Anyways, on top of that, gay bars across North America, they stopped serving screwdrivers, which you need orange juice to make a screwdriver, and they were boycotting it. So obviously they replaced it with the drink, the Anita Bryant cocktail, which was made of vodka and apple juice.
That's so
yum. It's so
sassy.
gay. Like, that's so gay. Like, I was like, yeah, fuck you, man. What a great response, too.
Yeah, that's fucking funny.
Because, like, you had to have the pizzazz. And they also made merchandise. Right. Again, he was like, I'm not going to do anything horrible to you, but you deserve to have a pie in the fucking face. You're disgusting. They made merchandise, such as buttons. And one of the buttons I told Megan earlier was so funny. It was It said in a giant orange button, and it said Anita Bryant sucks oranges.
Yeah, I'm gonna be using
Big
that
bold
one.
letters.
That's freaking funny.
Yeah. Bumper stickers, t-shirts. A phenomenal job. Just to get her to shut up, and she didn't.
Yeah.
And even celebrities like Jane Fonda got on top and were like, dude, this has got to stop. But she 84 now. Like, she's still alive, guys, and is still anti-gay, like, activist is how, like, she would be identified. She still is going hard.
Someone pie that bitch.
Yeah, again.
I was saying, like...
Yeah, you could get pied at any age. I don't fucking care.
She's sitting in her hospital bed. Smack her with a pie, man.
Dude,
give her a fruit pie.
Dude, like...
Dang, that is so J.K. Rowling coded,
That's
though.
what I'm saying.
Because
it's like, why did you double down even harder? What's going on up here? How you doing?
Why are you so pressed about stuff that's just not your business? Have you self-reflected?
Yeah. I just...
Her and J.K. Rowling probably get along, too.
They so would.
With each other.
Why has no one pied J.K. Rowling in the face? Hey, question.
Why are we not pieing
Why have we
people?
stopped pieing people?
I just saw this video.
Just curious about that.
There's I don't know shit about who this person was, but because it's like UK politics, which I don't, I'm not from the UK, but
I'm not as familiar.
I know he was conservative, and this girl that looks so sassy like smoothied him in the face, and the picture is so funny.
Smoothies are good too.
She's so like pleased with herself and happy, and he's just got smoothie all down his face, and I'm like, sometimes people just deserve a smoothie right in the face.
That's what I forgot to say. We'll post the video, but on top of that, it was her reaction after that got me too. After she had the shit all in her face, they were like, no, don't do anything to him. Let's pray for him. So then they start praying, but then she starts fucking crying.
She's looking down with her face covered with
globs of whipped cream just dropping off her face.
Her just whimpering.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Because that was her body trying to tell her, like, babe, we've got to stop. We've got to stop this. But then,
yeah,
she kept
they were
going.
trying to like be the bigger person, but like you guys are already the smaller person. So there's no like, you can't come back from that,
No, you really can't.
You've been on the wrong side. There's like, you're irredeemable.
And that's why you got a pie in the face.
Pie right to the face.
I hope you all enjoyed that story. I absolutely loved reading about that, and it got even better the further of a deep dive that I was doing.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Anita. What a woman.
I was thinking like, this is just off topic, but why it's like people are so scared. I think people's problem with the gay community is that even if you're completely fitting into the gender binary, like you're cis and everything, just the idea of loving someone of the same gender.
Well, it's truly scary to someone else. It's like, damn, you're just going against that. Yeah. Like, it's like you're just doing it and you don't care. And it's like, and why do you? I don't like
it's so ingrained and it hurts.
We're getting deep. We're really digging this out.
It hurts, man, because like we should all just be able to I'm just yapping. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
like
we all know what you're saying.
Do what you want to do, and it's like just no one's business. Anyway, Alexander the Great.
Oh, Alexander the Great was gay as hell.
Yeah, dude. So I wanted to talk about like, because this guy, he's like, like that's like
he's a macho man. Yeah,
Alexander the Great. But it got kind of weird. Like, I didn't know all this about ancient Greece, but, you learn something every day. But they were way different. Like, their idea of how they looked at gender and sexuality was so different than how it is today. And I'm going to get into that. So, same-sex relationships were just, like, normal back then. And it didn't have anything to do with, like, man-to-man, woman-to-woman. It had to do with who was doing what action was how they saw it.
The role you were playing, I guess. Is
so, if you're in the gay community, you're obviously going to know what, like, topping and bottoming is. But, like, whoever was topping, which they described it as taking, like, an active role. I didn't like that terminology, and then bottoming is, like, the passive role. And that was... Topping was associated with being a man, and bottoming was associated with being more feminine, regardless of the gender of the person. So it wasn't that weird to see men with other men back then. Especially, they had like an age thing with it too. So
oh, that's right, they did. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's called pedastery.
Yeah.
And that was like the concept of an older man having like a younger man as like a partner-ish, but they also a lot of times had wives, but it wasn't seen as like homosexuality or weird at all. Like it was just completely normal. Modern day, we would call it pedophilia. But, you know, back then, pedestrian. And I got a lot of warnings during this. Like, while I was reading this, it was like, we can't inflict modern ethics because things were so different back then. Mm-hmm. Which, I don't know if y'all know what the Flynn effect is, but every generation we get a little smarter. Where, like, our capacity for, like, empathy and morality gets a little bit stronger. So I don't even think that they had, like, the same tools in their brains.
Yeah, they were working with
then.
so much different stuff than we are now.
Like, the empathy was just different.
That's what I'm saying. It is hard to... That's why this shit is so fascinating, because you try to put yourself in that scenario, and you're like...
You can't, because your brain wouldn't have been working the same back then.
Yeah, because you're just like, this is not right.
Yeah. So, anyway. But from city to city, like, the level of, like, frowned upon, like, nowhere was it, like, frowned upon, but the level of accepted that...
Acceptance was different.
A genuine, no lack of power no power imbalance, like, type of relationship was accepted.
You just keep sliding off my noggin, man.
You got silky hair? You got silky soft hair? You've been moisturizing? That's hard when you have bleached hair.
I did a deep conditioning mask just yesterday. So actually,
so it is silky soft.
It's a little too silky. And it keeps falling. If you can see how much of my head is actually... Look at that.
Fix it.
It never did... If I... Let's get vulnerable. No. I'll explain. Let's get vulnerable. My hair has to sit a certain way when I have these headphones on. So if I push it up, then I have to check my hair out. And on camera, I do not want to be like fixing my fucking hair. So I'm just going to wait till we're done.
All right, period.
Anyways, Alexander.
Okay, so I'm still giving the context of, like, what sexuality was like in ancient Greece. So it varied from city to city how accepted, like, genuine, what we would consider to be, like, a gay relationship would have been. So, like, some places it was considered humiliating and dishonoring another person for personal gratification. By the way, I got this from, forgot. I'll figure that out by the end and I'll put it in the description.
It'll be in the episode, yeah.
So in some places it was considered humiliating and dishonoring for the person that was taking the more feminine role. I say using their words. But then there were places like Thebes that had they had this army called the Sacred Band, and it was one of the most powerful armies of the time. Like, they were the most successful.
So y'all can't say shit about that.
Yeah, and it was made of 150 pairs of male lovers. So that's interesting, and that was just normal back then.
150 is such a big number too.
Yeah. So that was just to set the context of, like, the time that...
Keep going. Keep going.
Okay, so for audio listeners, Hannah just abandoned the headphones.
No, they slid off. Oh, no. I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't do it on purpose.
Do you want me to help you fix your hair real quick?
Yes.
Okay, you're not going to believe me, but you nailed it, I think. They're on, and Hannah's hair looks feathered and lethal.
All right, let's keep going.
Stevie Nicks. Very Stevie Nicks-esque. Jesus. God. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so that was just to set the scene of what sexuality was like back then.
Just in that time period.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not like he was
already
like
so different from what we're working with.
He wasn't working with having to, like, be closeted per se, because it was not frowned upon the way it is now, which is crazy.
I wonder if they were also like... never mind. That's a deep dive. I'll just do it in my own brain later.
Oh, okay. You sure? All right.
Yeah, we don't have to do it on the pod right now.
Okay, so Alexander had this buddy. We went back and forth a little bit about how to pronounce this, and I forgot what we came upon.
Oh, I was going to say Hephaestion.
Hephaestion.
Yeah.
Okay, so he had this friend, like I say loosely.
He's really, really good bud.
And they were together, like, all the time. They were, you know... best friends.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And they, like, welcomed comparisons to Achilles and
Patroclus. That's another thing? Yeah, that's another thing.
Like,
if you were like, oh yeah, keep them coming. Yeah, we were just like Achilles and Patroclus.
Like, yeah, like, it even went to the point where, like, when they visited Troy, they went to
graves.
To their, not the graves, 'cause I don't know if they were real people or not, but they're, like, temples.
In my brain, they were.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things that we don't know for sure if they were real or not.
I know. That's another thing with history that I'm pissed off about.
We don't know a whole lot about the
so much
Trojan
stuff.
War either.
Anyways.
But anyway, yeah, they went and gave offerings at their temples. So, like, they were really welcoming that. And if you don't know the story of Achilles and Patroclus, they were definitely lovers. Like, if you have not read The Song of Achilles, that's an excellent book.
That book broke me.
Yeah, it will break your heart.
And you know what? It breaks me even more when I have to watch the 2004 version with sexy Brad Pitt, because I liked that when I was younger, because I was like, wow, this is fascinating. But then it's like,
well,
I need them to deliver Song of Achilles. Give me not just Achilles. Give me the book, Song of Achilles. Make it a limited series. And I want a show. And I want all of it. And I want it to be so
HBO
gay.
To do it.
Yeah, because I want you guys to show me everything. I want it to be so gay.
I want it to get the Game of Thrones treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
I have
cave
a few
scenes?
other ones for that too. That I want HBO to also adapt Game of Thrones.
Yeah, so HBO, I know you
Throne
all
of
watch
Glass.
us. Please get that done.
I'm hoping that one
Unbelievable.
day what I say will matter. You know what I mean?
Well,
maybe.
It always matters to me.
Thank you. But, you know, to specifically the HBO decision makers.
Listeners, I know you're out there.
That's who I want to be listening to me talk about, you know, Throne of Glass. Anyway, Song of Achilles. So if you don't know the story of Achilles and Patroclus, they were definitely lovers. Patroclus ended up dying. I don't remember how he died. Was it in the war?
He was in the war.
He was in the war, and Achilles, like, lost his
shit.
ever-loving mind. That ended up being, like, what led to him dying, because he just wasn't in his right mind.
Well, yeah, dude. It's like your thought process doesn't, like, fully work, I think, when you're dealing with grief like that. You know what I mean?
For sure, yeah.
So, yeah.
Nothing is rational anymore.
Exactly. The rational is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, so, yeah, Achilles, like, dragged... This is all from, like, the story, but Achilles, like, dragged Patroclus' dead body around because he just couldn't bear to be parted from it. Like, it was just so sad.
Yeah.
And that's going to become kind of literal with Alexander and his buddy here.
Yeah, his buddy.
Yeah, so we don't really know if he was, like... He definitely had, like, homosexual relations with probably this guy, but we know for sure that he did. We don't know if he did with him.
He definitely had homosexual tendencies.
Period. Great way of putting that. But he also was married and was described to have loved his wife. Like,
which, like, I mean...
So, probably bisexual is what I'm thinking. But, like I said, you can't, like, enforce these type of... Because their idea of sexuality and love was so different.
Yeah, they just... He probably just found, like, companion and partnership in these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he had 2 wives. One of them was that one I was talking about that he really loved, and the other one was, some people argue, to solidify, like, Macedonian relations with Persia, because him and his friend Hephaestion. Hephaestion. I'm so sorry.
I don't know if you guys remember how I pronounced it the first time, but I was just gonna let Megan do her thing because I was excited to see how she was gonna do it. And keep going.
So I'm notoriously bad at pronouncing words. But so him and Hephaestion married sisters from Persia, and some people argue that it was because they wanted to have children together, so they decided to just have cousins. Which also happens in Song of Achilles, kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they get, Patroclus gets, like, a wife to have babies with, and they, like, Achilles is going to be involved because they are in love. So, the parallels are crazy.
You do what you gotta do, I don't know.
Yeah, so when Hephaestion died, Alexander the Great
Does it just say he died?
He was sick.
Okay.
It was an illness, like he wasn't killed. Which is why, like, Alexander mourned over the body 4 days, similar to how Achilles did. His companions eventually had to pull him away from this body, which is, like, that grief is insane.
Sad. That's sad.
And
like,
because
people could say that's gross, but it's also, like, nah, dude, distraught.
Well, that's how you know that the love was not purely physical, because you're mourning over his decomposing body. That is love. Like, you loved that person.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't matter that he was stinky and gross. He still loved him. And that about breaks my heart.
Probably the sweetest thing
anyway,
ever.
Alexander also broke the Geneva Convention.
Yeah, dude. He was horrible in that aspect. But he had homosexual tendencies.
And I also read that he was not as bad as other people of the time.
So,
with, like, the ethics of warfare.
Guys.
So that was pretty cool.
Jeez.
He put the entire empire into a state of mourning when his friend, quote unquote, died.
Yeah.
And he banned music and had statues of the god of medicine destroyed.
Because it's like, hey, medicine didn't work. He was like, fuck you.
Which he ended up dying of an illness later himself. So that's crazy.
And then some people would say the believers of the gods would be like, well, that's what you get.
Yeah, exactly.
You done ruined the statues.
But that point specifically is used for to show how grief-stricken he really was, because that was kind of a poor choice as king to piss off his people like that.
Well, yeah.
But he was so mad.
He just didn't fucking care.
That this person had died. So like that sounds like romantic love to me. Like,
to me.
That sounds a little bit fruity to Megan. I can't imagine that being straight. But anyway, yeah. So Alexander the Great, he ended up dying really young too, at 32, but he never lost a battle. So he was a cool dude. He was a cool dude, and probably, bisexual. And I like to think that if he lived now, that he would, accept himself for who he was and just
queer
love
icon.
his friend. Yeah. Queer icon.
So, yeah, I enjoyed the stories we had today. I think that those were pretty good. I'm not over the pie. Alexander the Great is a fascinating story, because I'm sure plenty of people.
Thing is rich. Because someone, can we just, it's so not violent, but get your point across.
That's what I'm saying. It was that was a gentle nudge of how pissed off the fucking gay community was. Dude, she literally was preaching bigotry and hatred. It's like, the least we could do is give you a fucking pie in the face. God, fuck you.
And the way that they
we're not
acted
gonna fucking kill you. No, we're gonna hit you with a pie, because you're mean.
Yeah, you're hateful and mean. What did that guy say? The video is so funny, you guys. I will link the YouTube video to this whole scenario.
And it's just a few minutes.
After he did the pie thing, someone said, "You have just put your movement back like a year." I was like, brother, it's a pie.
Yeah. Also, other way around. It's the other way around. You have pushed yours back.
Yeah, look who was right in the end.
Yeah.
And they also were like, he did not put the movement back. That shit is iconic. We're queer people. You said this happened in the 70s?
1977, I think, is the year.
It's been decades, and I still think that's iconic
October 14th,
behavior.
1977. I'm going to celebrate every October 14th. That's National Pie Day in my brain.
October the 14th. I feel like something else.
I should do, every October 14th, I will bake a pie, find a bigot, and hit them in the face.
Who would it be this year? J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling. She gonna get a pie in the face.
She better get a pie in the face.
What is it? June?
Get on that.
Give me a second.
Next person that's got to see J.K. Rowling, hit her with a pie, please. Make it
and
a
if you don't have time,
too.
if you don't have time to make a full pie, just get the tin, put some whipped cream in it. Just give me something, because it's a bitch to clean up.
And it's symbolism.
When it gets up in your nose too.
J.K. Rowling sucks oranges.
She sucks major fucking oranges. I really don't like her.
I don't like her either, and it sucks that she did Harry Potter. It really does. But she stole. I was telling Hannah, she stole, I'm not going to say she didn't do a good job splicing everything together, because she did.
That's right. She did a great job with her story and her plot, and it was kid-centered, so that got the attention. But yeah, obviously, you were inspired by what? Where were you getting all of this stuff?
She got a lot of that stuff from Greek mythology, Nordic mythology, just different places. Lord of the Rings. There's a lot of ripping off of Lord of the Rings.
Which is why I emphasize it's I think because she took the route of appealing to children too, and was just yeah. She made it more fun, because it was for the kids. So
yeah.
Fucking J.K. Rowling. Yeah. That's hot.
Which, if you don't know what TERF stands for, it's trans-exclusive radical feminist. So it's
And she is so fucking radical.
Yeah. So therefore, and that makes it sound like they're so for the women, but they're really just so against trans people, is what's going on. And they're scapegoating.
They push that. Feminism. They push the hate of trans over anything for...
The only feminism that matters is feminism that includes all women,
every single woman,
which is trans women,
and they are included in that.
Yup, and non-binary people, because that is still misogyny that is hurting non-binary people. So
at the end of the day, it comes back to this.
Yep. You want to do the quote of the week?
Yeah, guys. Okay.
This one's for our friend Kiera.
Yes.
Who has been asking in our comments to be the quote of the week.
Yeah.
So this one is pretty good, but I forgot it. So my...
oh, cool. Good.
Yeah, I don't
okay,
remember what it was.
I was like, Megan does know this one, but okay. Kiera, May 27th, 2022. I inhale it so fast I choke on a peanut.
Okay.
She's talking about a Snickers bar, which...
they are good.
I mean, yeah. I can't say I've ever inhaled one so fast that I've choked on a peanut.
Funny. I see, so me and Kira, she works with us, and I see her at her induct when she eats. Is so funny. Anyway. All right, there you go, Kira. You made it into the pod. All right, we will check out the playlist.
Every Wednesday, episode comes out every Wednesday. Please check out the playlist. Please watch our videos. The videos are so fun.
And you can find us on social media at Mooning Musing for everything.
Yes.
And I've been trying really hard on the TikTok. So if you guys want to follow the TikTok and not laugh at my me being thirsty for people to find us, keep that out of my comments.
You can laugh a little bit.
You can laugh a little bit. Yeah, I've laughed at myself. But yeah, the TikTok is at Mooning Musing if you guys want to follow that account.
Yes,
that would
please
be nice.
do. And also we're gonna post that fucking video. I want you to see. It's such a good pie hit. It gets her whole face. Anyways.
All right.
Toodles.
Next week.
I can't get up. You're gonna have to pause that video.